Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of Adventures in the Ink. I'm Scott, and joining me as always are Matt and Mike. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good.
Doing good.
I know it's been a while since we've been together, holidays and all. So, everything going good the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, I got the two starter decks because I didn't want to buy them myself, but I got them as gifts from the latest set. So that was nice. Got to play a game of Lorcana with my wife, and yeah, my except for the bout of food poisoning that I had before Christmas, everything was great. How about you, Matt?
I can doing very well. That's like the top had been doing well, and with the we've been getting more people coming to our league night, which has been very nice. Our average numbers have gone up, and it's been very nice to see the new people coming and seeing the new people come again and again. So
Hmm.
getting more retention. With the cooking that like the last cup that and the set before it, I felt like we've been having a much better player retention than we had in the earlier sets, which is really nice. So now the people that's kind of testing the game, see if they like it. Now seeing like people are liking the game or getting more committed to it, which is really fun.
Yeah,
I was actually just, as we were at League the other night, thinking, man, we're kind of outgrowing the space we got.
yeah. It was kind of warm. It was warm, and for winter in Michigan, that's surprising.
Oh, oh yeah,
Yes.
that back room can get hot. Always dressed in layers, people. Dressed in
Yeah.
layers. Easy to kick off. Um, well, like worst case scenario, like I can move the comic, and we can have a second place bait. But yeah, it's nice that we're starting to get close to like max capacity just on a average Friday.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm excited for set champs coming up. But Scott, how was your holiday?
It was good. Got to see family. Went down, saw my brother. Played a lot of games. Sadness, I didn't get anybody to play Lorcana with me, but
Oh,
it's okay.
you got to bribe them.
I tricked them.
Yeah, or that too.
I've tried both, and they both fail because they know what Lorcana is.
Have
My
you
family is just not a TCG player.
Just say it's this new tabletop game.
gotta get the family better. Like, you both your brothers are single, right? Let's find them someone that like trading card games, like a fan your family.
Yeah, right.
My one brother is an avid Magic player, and he refuses to touch any other TCGs but Magic.
Mm, loyalist.
Give it like 5 years.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to see you guys are doing good. We might as well dive right into it. And tonight's episode is we're going to be looking at the different types of decks that people can bring to whether it's league night, whether it's store championship, whatever type of championship. But there are multiple different types of decks people can play with. So we're actually going to be talking about those and going over why you should have each one of these types of decks. So Matt, what are the 5 decks?
The 5 decks are competitive or like your main deck. So basically, like your winning deck. The deck. This is the most obvious one. It's the deck you play the most, the deck you've been working on the most, the deck that you are entering in a tournament. This is a very obvious given one. Most people are already bringing the deck to league night. But like just throwing it out there. The other one I think people to be bringing are solo decks. So this one is pretty simple. It just when you go to a league night, it might be someone's first league night. It might be someone's first time playing the game. It's nice that so like when you in that situation where you are playing against someone that is playing a solo deck, it is nice to have one on you. And the cooking, I feel like a lot of people after a while they move away from solo decks. but I do think it's still worth the keeping one starter deck around the one pre-constructed deck. Just so when you do find yourself at a league night, because a lot of league nights in all area let people switch decks during round. So this is a good way. So when you all facing that person, it feels bad for both players when like one person that's stomping with a very competitive deck. Um, so just having a basic solo deck that to teach people with or a nice easy on how to play deck around, it's always worth having. And while I'm going through stuff, you guys feel free to jump in any comments or anything.
Mm-hmm. I was
Um,
going to say, to speak to your point, last week I played against someone it was their second week, and they clearly had a adjusted starter deck, or I don't know, something pretty close. Round one,
Yeah, he definitely had an adjusted starter deck.
yeah, round one, game one, I played him, and I was like, oh, my deck, while not being a meta deck, was significantly more powerful than his with Rapunzel's and whatever else. And I was like, okay, let's switch decks. But I just ended up giving him my deck and then pulling another deck out to play against to even the power level. So, and it gave him experience kind of playing something else too. So that's another way around it if you don't have the starter deck with you.
and this is another thing too, is that like part of the reason why we're talking about the topic is you should be bringing more than one deck to league night. Because when you do just bring like one deck to league night, then like most people that bring the competitive deck, and then you get the feel bad method. Because league nights are the fun casual event. These are not big tournaments. These are not the set championships. Some people use them to prep for those events, but not everyone does.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to this Friday to have everyone playing their decks for the store championship.
Mhm.
Um, so the next one, which is probably what I'm going to be playing Friday, is Jank Strat Op Meta Deck. The bakery, like, these are the fun decks. These are like, for me right now, I'm messing around with Microbots. It's just like, I'm taking a fun mechanic that I think could be really powerful, and I'm just testing in the water. And so I think these are fun for people. Okay, like, I have a broom deck that falls into the category also. Mike deck the bakery this.
Yeah, most of my decks are like this. This is my bread and butter. That's how I have fun. I think I get
Yeah,
bored very quickly of
I
the
think
most competitive decks. So
all of my decks either fall into this category or the next category.
Yeah, so these are just basically these are just your non-tournament decks that they're better than a solo deck. They're a lot more modified. They do a lot more fun stuff. So it's nice to have one of these around. So like when you are playing against someone who doesn't have a competitive deck, and they have like a modified starter, that's a good deck to pull out and then to have some fun. Or you just you've been grinding out games with your competitive deck and you just want to break.
mhm. I like to think of this as, if you're a good player, a competitive player, and you want to challenge yourself, if not everyone around you is as competitive, switch to one of these decks and see how well you do when they're playing their hardest and you're
Mhm.
playing something that doesn't have the most powerful cards.
And that one thing I do a lot of time with the so like I'll buy singles for my competitive deck, but for jank decks, it is just what I have. And so if my competitive deck have like the card needed for the deck, then I'll find fun alternative. Um, and I'll try to walk around it. So like these all, yeah, let's have fun with these decks. And
Mhm.
most people are gonna have these. So like I'll say like most players, if they're bringing a second deck, they're probably bringing something like that to the event.
Yeah.
But the next one is one I've been having a lot of fun with, and I think people are kind of creeping on this. That's a movie deck. You pick one movie, and all the cards in the deck are just from that movie. I have been doing this for a couple sets now. I've done a uh enchant Encanto deck and a Big Hero 6 deck that and they are surprisingly fun. And you can and these are like good tests if you for you when trying to make such a limited, highly restricted deck building work. And I find the deck to be really good teaching deck. I find it to be really good playing against someone who just starting or just have a modified starter deck like Didal. Really fun to play with. You can actually play a lot of your favorite characters that you don't get a chance to play in more competitive decks, and it's just fun.
Now, I have a question for you, Matt, and or Scott, because Scott, you've played a Robin Hood deck before. When you guys are making these decks, do you allow yourself like any exception? Like, oh, maybe like 2 slots, I'll be able to like 8 cards I can put in that aren't from the movie, or are you like, nope, I have to throw in Beast Mirror because it's a Bell or whatever deck, Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah,
So
I around 0 adaptant. So the two I
Uh,
built have that been entirely.
yeah, I have 4, 2 completed decks and 2 I'm almost done completing of strict movies, and it is strictly movie.
okay,
The only exception I have is I have that one card in my Robin Hood deck that technically is not Robin Hood, but it has the character as he appeared in another movie.
uh, which character is that?
Um, Sir Hiss. Uh, it's how he appeared in Jungle Book, the
Oh,
action card
yeah.
of Hypnotize.
Okay, okay.
But that's only because Robin Hood at the time I built that deck didn't have enough action cards I needed.
Yeah, that's the only attempt that I can potentially think of if the specific theme deck you're building just does not have enough cards.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it's just that one card. My Awesome and Jetsam deck is strictly Little Mermaid. My Beauty and the Beast and my Chippendale decks are strictly Beauty and the Beast and strictly Chippendale. So yeah, I try to stick to just the movie, or in this case, TV show too.
How do you do Chip and Dale? I feel like there's only like four Chip and Dale cards. There's still
There's
actions and
just enough cards to do a Chippendale deck.
okay. I think there's
I'm
two
only
Chips, 2
4 cards of
Dales, a Chip and Dale card. Are there any other characters other than the?
Yeah,
Gadget, Zipper,
Oh, okay.
Monterey
Yeah.
Jack.
there's a leap, one action, one location.
There's a couple of actions, location. Yeah, there's enough to do it.
Yeah.
Um, but I haven't finished that one yet. That's the one I'm still building.
But like Big Hero 6, I had to like actually like not put some cards in it. That because
Your
it
big
was
hero, your big hero 6 deck. I gotta admit, when you handed me that deck Friday night, to I took over your game that you were in the middle of playing because you had to go take over the store. So I got to see that deck in action. And then I turned right around and then I had to teach someone how to play Lorcana while they were using that deck. That deck was so nicely crafted. I really enjoyed that deck.
yeah, yeah, like that one thing we talked about this before, got it when we were talking about doing that. The cards do work together. Like when you do pick up movie or cooking, the creators of the game definitely keep this up in mind.
Hmm.
So there
Mhm.
is synergy with the card. So it's fun to mess around and play the card together.
Do you know of which movies that are currently represented that there aren't enough cards? Like you just wouldn't be able to make a deck out of?
Let's see. Let me scan through the card. I know, like, at one point in time, Wreck-It Ralph, but we got a
Right, just
ton
because
of
you
those
only have one
now.
Yeah,
Wreck-It
we got
Ralph
a ton of
card.
Wreck-It Ralph
Yeah.
now.
Um.
Alice in Wonderland, maybe?
Yeah, there's only what, 2 Alices?
Well, we got the
Yeah.
Mad Hatter. You got
Yeah, the teacup,
oh,
the
isn't the Carpenter from the? No, the Carpenter from Toy Story.
Yeah,
Mary,
we
Mary,
got
and Birthday.
Alice, Mad Hatter, Cheshire Cat.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
But
that's three.
there's kind of
That's
three
three
different
colors.
colors.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
Queen of Hearts and the King of Hearts now, so there might
Yeah.
be enough now in Alice.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
interesting to maybe just do quick searches on Dreamborn and look at which franchises you would actually be able to make a deck and have some choices over versus ones where it's like, oh, I just have to run 99 puppies.
But
Yeah,
like,
101 Dalmatians is probably the only one that may not without running the 99 puppies.
well, to be fair, well, you're gonna have to run the puppy, but you're not gonna run as many as your king because there's at least 2 other puppies,
Yeah, we got
and then
Pongo, Perdita,
Roll.
and then
Rolly, Lucky, Cruella, Jasper, Horace, the
yeah.
Captain. There's not. But when you start including the animals that
Wait,
help them,
yeah, isn't
yeah,
Dalton Tib also from them?
Yeah, but
Sergeant
Yeah.
Tibbs.
he's Ruby, right? And so
I
is
think that
Captain
that may be the only issue is some of the cards there's not enough
within just two
in just
colors.
2 colors to do it. I think there's some of the franchises are spread out too thin.
Yeah.
But like Zootopia, I think have enough you could probably do it now. But again, that one that you have like actually look at the color combinations.
I mean,
Mhm.
Hiram Flaversham's from that movie, right? I think
No,
I saw him.
that,
I think I saw him in the background. Yeah.
no, that Great
No,
Mountain
just
Detective.
I know. You can't not have a popsicle deck and
uh, but yeah, so I
Okay.
definitely think there's a lot of property in that game that you can do that, and actually even have variety. Like there was a lot of big heroes that called I didn't incorporate. Um, and we could actually, I could tweak my deck more to actually be a little bit more inventor side.
mm,
So
Yeah. Same thing when I'm building one of my Beauty and the Beast deck, is I'm running it as purple and green. There was enough characters that I could have done ruby or one of the other colors and completely switched that deck up too.
mhm.
So there's enough um variants that you can do like 2 or 3 decks based around one movie and be fine.
Yeah, nice. I'll have to. I don't know. It seems too restrictive for me. I'm afraid to make something like this. I mean, also partially because my Disney knowledge is very limited compared to your two. So
but like this is also like the point of it is that to have a fun casual deck when playing with newer players.
yeah.
Um, this is not, but like I had one like week night with it. Uh, with my Encanto one, I won like multiplayer game that league night with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate your Encanto deck.
Oh
So
my god! Well, it's gone now. I tore it apart, but
good,
it was
Literally
funny.
good.
ripped it in half. No.
But like that's what game like when that gag was so good at get getting set up, and with 13 for the as soon as I got 5 characters or 4 characters out, I'll play the grammar just for the draw 5/5 Maribel, and then to play that the next turn without turning anything sideways, and then just win.
I hated your that deck so much because every time you pulled it out, I knew I would never be questing at any time. Every one of my actions had to be to remove characters off your field just so you didn't get Maribel out.
Yeah, and I think part of the reason that made that deck so good is because the grandma could search for cards. So I was able to search for the card I needed for that moment.
Mhm.
And also Juliet's a decent draw engine. She's a very good budget Rapunzel, and I'm surprised we don't see more of her in Gex. Alright, the last one is one we might have mentioned a couple times on the show, but I want to eventually do a whole episode on it. Uh, Lorcana, I think this is a fun format, and I think this is something that people to start carrying deck whip. For those of you who don't know, Lorcana is you only play with commons and uncommons. So if people like us who've been playing for set one, or people who've been playing for a lot of sets, you have the piled and piled the bulk or all the commons and uncommons, and you're not really playing with them. This is a good chance to actually play with the cards you don't normally play with, it's a completely different meta because a lot of all the rares and legendaries are gone, and so it gives you a lot more challenges, and you can get a lot more creative with it. And it's a lower power format, so it that you can do a lot more stuff with it.
Mhm. Yeah, and there are definitely going to be power cards that are commons and uncommons that probably
Mm,
people are going to play in every, if they're playing that color, just like there are in the meta decks. But the good thing is they're commons and uncommons, so at
Yeah,
most it's going to be like $1 for your card.
yeah, and this is one of those things that too that like you could probably easily build a Pocana deck that is competitive for $20. Like this is a very good for new players or players who are having a lot of hard time getting the bigger, more expensive cards. Um, this is just like Popper for Magic. So this is the type of format that really attracts to people. And one thing I really like about Lorcana is I feel like a lot of key engine cards are uncommon. So I feel like the game designers do a good job with that. So there's a lot of fun decks you can build around w- just looking at uncommon cards.
Uh, it was fun building the Porcana deck. Um, I need to go in and tweak mine a little bit more, but playing Porcana against you Friday night, it was just this fast, fun, quick, easy game.
Mm.
And we were just sitting there and playing and just basically goofing off as we were playing that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like let me look up mine because I'm pretty sure mine is on Dreamborn. Let me see how much mine is actually going for right now.
We'll leave
Um,
the link in the show notes for Matt's deck if it is public.
I can make it public. So my deck is just a simple Mickey Mount Mini fighting deck. It based around that one mini that when a Mickey Mouse challenges, you get a lore.
Mm. You could probably make a pretty good ramp deck too, and get to play all those like kind of awkwardly strong vanilla cards.
You don't need to give him any help
Ah.
whatsoever on that deck.
No, I'm just
Like
thinking.
like I started that game off doing really well, and then by turn 3 or 4, Matt just is like, "Nope, it's mine." He
Yeah.
just took control and ran with it.
I guess I did not save that deck. Hold on, let me see.
Now I'm wondering if you're playing Porcana, do most of the decks tend to lean towards the aggro slash low to the ground? Just because some of the stronger like controlling cards, be prepared, Maui, whatever else are rares.
Yeah, that aggro definitely have some advantage, but also like a lot of good aggro cards are also um rare too. So you're definitely gonna. I definitely think like challenging is gonna be a lot more important, and I think it's gonna be a straight thrower.
Mm,
But yeah, any format like until people figure out the control way. But like Wet the Totally Dawn is a really good removal card and uncommon.
yeah.
That's what killed me in our game.
Trying to think. Are muses? Muses are an uncommon, right? So I mean that's another kind of like more controlling card that you could build a deck around.
It didn't save the deck, but I'm pretty sure the deck is probably less
Oh,
than $20.
never mind. I lied. The muses are rare. That's the hard part for me. Is like I look at a card and try to build a deck archetype around it, and so for Forcana, it's like you just got to go with base stats. You have to say no to so many cards. But
Yeah, and you and also and that one thing too is that like you get a lot of cards you don't would not normally you play with. It you have to think a lot more because you don't have like these obvious auto includes. You like
yeah,
Rapunzel, medical gifted with healing, or like be prepared. So you have to get more creative and have more walk around. But you still get stuff like particle, let the tone lay dawn, um, warranted. There's like a lot of stuff like that that you see in a competitive deck that you can still run and work with. So it's more of like taking. So like one way you can start with Pocana is you find a meta deck you like, And then like, how can I do a budget version of the deck?
Right. What's the budget
That's
Rapunzel?
what I did
Who
with
the
Yeah.
cards
mine.
are? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
All
a
you
good starting point.
Yeah, oh for me it was just like I liked it Mickey Mouse and Minnie uh called them. Like, why don't I just find a way to make these guys work? And that deck actually worked pretty decently. Um,
Oh, now that we've gone over the 5 different types of decks, I'm going to ask both of you guys this question. Now, I'll start with you, Mike. Of the 5 different types of decks, what one is your favorite to play with?
Oh, definitely the off-meta jank. Just because I think I said this last week. I was like, it's not a successful tournament if a person didn't have to stop and ask me, wait, what does that card do? Um, like last at champs, I brought the Ruby Sapphire, um, but it was like Maximus and it's like high strength characters with the Scrooge McDucks. And yeah, it took people by surprise because they're like, "Oh, Ruby Sapphire, I know what you're playing." And then I played on Flynn Rider. They're like, "What in the world are you doing?" So that was a lot. And then played like Denahi, which was like, people are like, "What is this card?" Um, yeah,
yeah, when I threw in Zero the Hero to my Zero Song deck, I get that a lot. Like people are like, what did that do?
yep. And then yeah, the last 1K Matt and I went to, I played a like Amber Amethyst, but it was like mid range, like slower mid range, and not hyper aggro, and threw in cards like the Minnie Mouse Musketeer, and just it didn't really win me any games, but it was fun to be like, right after someone slams down Big Sisu, to just say, "Oh, Big Sisu's dead," and they're like, "Wait, how?" So yeah, I would say yeah for sure, Jank off meta. How about you, Scott?
Mine's definitely the off meta. You guys know me. I don't play competitive at all. I don't even try to build a highly competitive deck. I just all my decks are just the fun decks to play with.
Mm-hmm. Hey, sometimes
And
meta
Matt, what
decks
about
can
you?
be
What one
fun.
do you like to play with?
Normally, I would say the jank meta deck, but honestly, with Lorcana, this is like one of the first card games that I really enjoyed the actual competitive deck and the meta. And that's one thing I really love about the game is that the high end meta is fun. With the second, I hated the Magic. Magic was like I always played like janky deck, and I absolutely hated playing really high end competitive decks, and kind of hated that meta. But like for some reason, like this game is clicking a lot more with me, and I find a lot the 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 match to be a lot funner when
Mm-hmm.
playing on the more higher end, which I've been really enjoying.
What is your guys' least favorite type of deck to play with?
Um, I mean, honestly, probably the starter deck, only because when you're playing starter deck versus starter deck after turn 5, it becomes a top deck war unless you get lucky and you get your draw engine. And I mean, there's definitely a learning curve to every starter deck. I think now they're getting more keen to how they make them. To like every starter deck has some like card advantage engine, but you have to know what it is and you have to mulligan for it. Um, and it's just I don't know. It if you get it and the other person doesn't, it just becomes very one sided.
I like playing with the starter decks sporadically.
Yeah.
Um, like I would enjoy like when a new set comes out, opening that starter deck and playing with it right then and there. But yeah, if I had to play with the starter deck week after week, I no,
Mm-hmm.
I would have to no. But pulling out a starter deck sporadically just to tone down and not have to really like think about what I'm doing, it's actually kind of relaxing to play a game like that.
Yeah, I think for me to make starter decks more fun would be to like first off that pack that you get, you can add any cards you want from there into your starter deck, or do like a successive week to week to week, um, where you like play in a starter deck league or something where everyone gets their starter deck. You all open your packs. You can make trades if you want, or do whatever, and hopefully play more than just one set of starter decks. And then the next week you play again, get another pack. You can update it, and you kind of have a progression of like, oh, let me try this, and it's restrictive enough that no one's going to run away and like just have like a completely broken deck compared to everyone else, but hopefully gives people enough of a choice of like flavor of editing their deck. But it takes
Yeah,
time.
yeah, totally agree to cooking that. I'm been debating on trying at the top. Magic, we had a lot of issues with doing league. But our Lorcana community team a lot more committed than what our Magic community was, so maybe we could actually pull it off.
Yeah, I don't think it should replace regular league, but maybe if it's like, hey, if you get to the shop early before league starts and you want to play starter deck games or like I don't know. The only problem with legacy kind of formats is that it's very restrictive to new players, right? If you
Yeah.
have a week to week to week format.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. It's harder for new people to join
Hmm.
when you have to build from there. And a lot of time when people do league, they only do them like 6 weeks for that reason.
Yeah. So Scott, what did you say? What your least favorite one was?
Least favorite would be competitive for me.
Yeah.
Just just because I don't like playing competitively. Um, I got into Lorcana simply because it was Disney and it was a toned down TCG game. It was for fun. I didn't have to care about being competitive. It was just something I got to do just to relax, have fun, see my friends. And now here we are, a year and a half into the game, and I'm still treating it that exact same way.
Right. It's a good place to be. You never want your hobbies to become stressors in your life.
Like at the
I
end
will
of the
admit.
oh,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say at the end of the day, this is always just a game, and you need to not lose sight into that. So like, it's meant to be fun, meant to be having fun.
Hmm.
I will admit though, watching you two be highly competitive and then watching the store championships, I've actually fallen in love with being a judge more so on this game than any other TCG I've ever judged before. Like I have fun just the behind the scenes type of stuff on the competitive stuff and not being competitive in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for me, it's a love-hate relationship with competitive. I think I love winning, but I hate winning in the same way that everyone else is trying to win. So, no matter what, even if I do a net deck, I'm like, I have to make this my own. I have to add some sort of flair or do whatever. Um, Still have not decided what I'm doing for set champs yet, but that's like 5 days
Yeah,
away.
you got
So,
a few days left.
yeah,
I'm telling
uh,
you, Michael Bot,
yeah.
Mike.
Matt, do you have a least favorite deck archetype?
uh, I agree with Scott that the auto deck can get pretty boring when repetitive, but I think that honestly, part of the reason why I like having multiple decks in different formats is fun variety. I love this game. I don't think any of the like I have a least favorite.
Hmm.
They're all fun to play. I think competitive. I think tested me the most, which is why I prefer playing that one. But like the casual multiplayer is that's always fun to do.
Yeah, I'll say if you want to be good at competitive, you don't have to be a good deck builder. You just have to look online and to play a lot. If you want to be a good deck builder, try building one of these other types of decks
Yeah.
because it forces you to think about, the things that people who are making the competitive decks are thinking about, like your ink curve and, how many of non-inkables you're including or how, like, if you actually let me rephrase that. If you make one of these decks and you are also trying to make it have a chance to win, for sure you can make a movie deck that has no chance of winning if you don't pay attention to what you're doing. But if you want to make a deck, one of these decks, try restricting yourself to one of these non-competitive decks and seeing, what you need to do to still try to play against people who are playing somewhat competitive decks.
And I think that's also like really great advice, and that also gets you to think outside the box and like play with cards you don't normally play with, and then they will help you with what we talked about before when I won when I won the into the Ink Set championship. That one was a neck deck I found, but all the cards in it I played before. So it's like, oh hey, I played this in this deck, I played this in this deck. So it makes it a lot easier when I go to competitive and I try a new deck that I find online. Because I'm always familiar with the cards, I'm used to how they interact, and I can make better choices.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what you said, Matt, was that when you're playing one of these other types of decks, it does force you to understand the other cards better. And even if you never play with those cards again, like you make a movie deck and you're like, okay, I'm never going to play with Beast Smear again. You now know why you don't want to play with it, because you're like, oh, it's too situational or not in this kind of deck.
Yeah. Quick update. So I got my Lorcana deck on Dreamborn and the Dreamborn estimated price. Do you guys want to guess?
For Porcana, I'm
Yep.
guessing 60 cards at 20.
Can we do a small
$11.
range?
Okay, you saying $11? What are you saying?
I'm gonna say 9.
All right, it's $6.85 is what my Lorcana deck is coming out to estimate on
Alright.
Dreamborn.
I forgot that they have cards that are listed for like a penny. So
yeah, the most expensive card in my deck looked to be Let the Storm Rage On with its 66 cents.
breaking the bank there, Matt.
Yeah. So again, Lorcana is a really fun format that they have on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think this format going to go anywhere. I think that probably as the game grows, because people are going to have commons and uncommons.
Yeah.
That boxes and boxes. So the dwarf that start building. We'll probably just do a whole episode on it. But I thought I'd bring it up now.
Yeah.
But also in the future too, other formats may pop up. So like, is it dwarf having because I know people keep trying to make a commander format for the game. So like whenever there is extra formats and stuff, that having a deck for every format, gives you more opportunity to play. And we're talking about what our favorite format is. Everyone has different opinions on which format they like to play. So it's nice to have a variety. So when you are with someone, you can still play with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The best format is the one that you can actually play.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say the best format is the one that you have the fun playing. Because all of us can play almost any one of these types of decks, but
Yeah.
are we going to have fun playing them?
Sure. I'm just
Not
thinking of
always.
like legacy formats in Magic, where it's like, no, I can't actually play unless I drop a couple grand on a deck.
I mean, you can play, but you're not gonna win. Well, that also was fun too when like I would into Magic and I just had a standard deck and I was playing against people who had modern and I was just winning. Yeah, mono red burn get you pretty far.
Yeah. There's a reason why it's a hated deck archetype.
Anything else you guys want to say about the 5 different decks?
Well, no, other than, we're recording this, it's a new year. So if you're looking to stretch yourself this year, try something new. I'd say suggest, choose one of these deck archetypes that you haven't built before or whatever and try it at your local league. There's no harm in doing it. And, you never know. Maybe you'll learn a little bit more about cards that you've never played.
Yeah, it's such a good way to try something new and of fan your whole life in and see different combinations and mess around with different combos and see what you can bring back to other games. And again, it's and also like when you start matching your deck to your opponent in the casual setting, you'll have a lot more fun game,
Hmm.
and that you and your opponent are gonna enjoy the matches a lot better when they are closer matched.
Yeah.
So having that wide variety of casual and competitive is that's a great thing to do for the very casual weekly event.
Well, and with that being said, we are going to move on to our card of the week. So our card of the week this time is Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. He comes to us from set 6. He is a 2-drop non-inkable. He has a strength of 2 and a willpower of 1. A storyborn hero. He is in the Sapphire cards, and he quests for 2 lore, and he has the ability called Favorable Chance. During your turn, whenever a card is put into your inkwell, you may reveal the top card of your deck. If it is an item card, you may play that item for free and it enters play exerted. Otherwise, put it on the bottom of your deck. And this card is illustrated by Tom Bancroft and Kristen Breshears. I'm going to be honest. Um, I don't think I have actually seen this card yet.
You need to play
Uh,
against Matt.
yeah, I threw him in my Microbot deck, and I am actually really liking him, and I think he is. Also, when he first got revealed from the D23 from the year, I realized he was very much key to breaking item deck, and I think when item deck get more predominant, I think that it's definitely going to be a key card for that. Cause like he tap buyer, so tap buyer always have a bunch of ramp, but every time you ramp, you just search and play an item for free.
Hmm.
Like that's fun to get a lucky dime on turn 3.
There's not much you can use the Lucky Dime on, but it is fun.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
watching your opponent interfere.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd say, Matt, you've definitely used this card very well in your Microbots deck. The just watching you ink, 2 or 3 times a turn with your standard ink, and then Sail the Azurite Sea, and then Fishbone Quill. You just end up with like 6, 7 items out, and then it's just it's a ticking time bomb until he draws his Tamatoa, or gets a couple Hirams and draws his entire deck.
When really, it's like, and I threw in the aerial. Right now, aerials are my big win consistent because he's a lot more consistent than Tamatoa.
Yeah.
But also, like Oswald paired super well with Gadget.
Hmm.
Um, and then we were talking on Friday about the Tinkerbell from Into the Inkland, and like if you and I built a deck, but typically around that combo is very similar to how that puppy 99 puppy deck goes.
Hmm.
Um, and like when the combo goes off, it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
So for those of you who don't know what the Tinkerbell we're talking about, it is not the big Tinkerbell or anything else. It's the Sapphire Tinkerbell. That's, I don't know. I think it's a 5 cost, right? But basically, it's the ability that you care about. It's when an item is banished. When one of your items is banished, you can put that card into your inkwell, and so you just run a bunch of items that you can banish, and you have Oswald and her out, and then you just, yeah, you put like 6 cards in your inkwell, draw 6 cards, or well, not draw, but get like 6 more items out, and
Yeah, I built it with Teal and Teal that have a ton of self-balancing items like frying pan and like Gizmo Duck Suit.
and the
Um,
Fortisphere, right?
yeah, Polar you have to tap down, but that one actually have a draw, so I threw that in. But also like Jumbo Popsicle,
Hmm.
and so like there's a lot of items you just like Popsicles are like, oh yeah, I banned it, and then you play another item, and then if you can keep the chain going, and then you just have Gadget out, and then Gadget they're getting low on top of low.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
yeah.
well,
Overall, yeah, I think this card's fun. I think great. It's got a great ability. The stats are a little, not as good as like a vanilla card, but the ability very much makes up for it. And honestly, the difference between 1 and 2 isn't that big for willpower right now. since most things that will kill something with 1 willpower will kill things with 2 willpower. The uninkability hurts it, but the fact that it quests for 2, so you can, quest with it if you absolutely need the lore, is pretty cool. Yeah, I think he's just a card that's waiting to get broken in the future.
Yeah, and I think they did a good job. I think they probably run from called Bucky, where they were smart enough to give him wards because
Yeah.
people aren't turning him sideways.
Yeah.
Okay,
What?
Mike. Right, I'm gonna throw you under the bus.
Okay.
We're gonna test your Disney knowledge.
Uh-oh. I'm already getting ready to type in the internet.
Who is Oswald?
Well, I'm looking at the image now, and he's got 2 ears, and he's black and white. So I'm guessing that he's the predecessor to Mickey Mouse, but I don't know what or where he's from. That's about all I can tell you.
You actually pretty much just nailed it. He was the original go-to icon for Disney before they created Mickey Mouse.
Mm.
Oswald was originally going to be the face of Disney before Mickey came along.
Ah, did they just switch it because Mickey happened to be more popular, or?
Oswald got designed first and was in cartoons beforehand, and then someone created Mickey, and I'm not sure the exact story, but from what I understand is people just like Mickey more.
Yeah. I mean, he looks fun, but he also looks like he might be one of those weird, mischievous cartoons that's happy and also terrorizes things.
He actually that's Oswald.
Yeah, he was long forgotten, and then they brought him back out of nowhere for Epic Mickey, and then that introduced him to a whole nother generation. That's where I first found out about him,
Mm.
and so now, and I think Disney Plus actually had some new shorts with him in it.
Really?
Yeah, so I think a whole nother generation got exposed to him now, and he's starting to get a lot more popular, and a lot of people starting to resonate with the story that hey, he was originally the mascot, and then Mickey came along, and he was forgotten for years, and I think that resonates with a lot of people.
And you basically just summed up the entire Epic Mini video game series, the entire plot.
I mean, there's a few more details in there, but yeah.
Yeah, that was the plot. It's Oswald and all the other forgotten cartoon characters.
Aw.
Game fun. Game's on Team now, the remastered
Hey.
one, so that definitely will check it out.
All right.
Yeah, it's a great game. I played both Epic Mickey 1 and 2 when they first came out on the Wii, and I absolutely love those games. I want to go buy the remastered one.
Yeah, I haven't played the second one, but I did really enjoy the first one. And I had the corrected edition of that, but that Mickey ended up breaking, so I got rid of it.
Oh man. Yeah, I'll have to go check it out. We need to keep a list going of all of the movies that I need to still watch because it's growing, and I feel like
We can't keep a list because at this point, we should keep a list of what ones we should not put on the list. It'd be a lot smaller.
yes, because of my girls, I've seen Moana a ton. I've seen Frozen a ton. All of the other and Cars, but everything else is um, yeah, too scary for them right now. So
I'll give it a couple more years, and then you can start introducing them to the really good ones like Rewanted and Emperor New Group.
yeah,
You
well,
forgot Beauty and the Beast, Robin Hood, Treasure Planet.
They
yeah,
could probably do Robin Hood now. I mean, and Beauty and the Beast now.
yeah. I mean, the best
And
part,
maybe not Beauty, but they could do Robin now.
yeah. I mean, the worst that can happen if it's on a streaming service, I can just be like, oh, let's go get a snack. Forward, forward, forward. Oh, the scary scene's gone.
Yeah, looking Robin Hood actually have that many carry teams. I know Bambi have a few, and I know,
Yeah,
but I can't think of any really in Robin Hood that would really be quote unquote very carry for kids. I know it's
Um,
Snow White, the one forward killed a lot of small children.
yeah.
Um,
Well, we'll I'll keep you up to date on what my girls are ready for. Then I can fit it into family time. It'll be a while probably before they can watch the Black Cauldron.
Well, over tonight. Oh,
Scott, you froze there for a little bit.
yeah, I came back just in time for you to say Black Cauldron. I'm like, oh, Black Cauldron.
That one, the one coming out this year, isn't it? Or that next year
Soon,
for
yeah.
the Lorcana. Yeah.
I think soon. I think it might be
Yeah.
this year because I think that was one of the big announcements for 2025, and then 2026 was Pixar.
Just don't listen. Whatever you do, do not listen to the people that show up to our league that tell you Black Cauldron is a horrible movie. Because I got a bunch of them to watch it this past week, and they all hated it. Do not listen to them.
Oh my god. Yeah, that movie is good. I very enjoy it. And I was sad that I didn't find out about that movie when I was like younger.
All right.
Well, then again, I think when I was younger, I think that movie was not available anywhere. I think that was during the time where Disney had it like hidden in the vault.
Yeah, so the redheaded stepchild kind of
Yeah.
movie, like, oh, let's just forget that we did this one.
If you ever want to borrow it, I do have it.
Yeah, I think it is on Disney Plus too. So
Yeah, it's on
Yeah,
the
it's on
streaming
Disney
now.
Plus.
so awesome. Well, I'm excited. I'll have to watch one of those two in the next month. We'll see when I find time. But either Black Cauldron or what? Now I don't even know. How would I watch something with Oswald? Is it a cartoon series?
Yeah. Oh, I think they did like shorts and stuff with him.
Okay.
Yeah,
On Disney Plus.
he's just like the original Mickey Mouse cartoons where he was just in random
Oh,
short
okay.
cartoons.
That sounds a lot more easy for me to achieve than watching a
Yeah.
full length movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
because I don't think Oswald's in anything longer than like 20 minutes.
Okay.
yeah, I'm probably gonna have to watch both before the next tech comes out.
Ooh. Yeah.
I have to rewatch Lady and the Tramp before the next set comes out.
I've seen that movie so much. I don't need to rewatch that movie.
I've seen that movie a lot too. I still want to rewatch it.
Oh.
So
All right.
I guess that's the end of our podcast for tonight. Unless you guys have anything else to add.
Well, Happy New Year. And yeah, let's get those set champs won.
Until next time, Illumineers, adventure awaits.